Today we will discuss about the irreversibility and Carnot cycle. And, after discussion about Calvin Planck and Clausius statements, and we have seen that it seems that Calvin Planck statement and Clausius statements are different. But actually, from the equivalence of these two statements, we have got that if we violate Calvin Planck statement, then Clausius statement is automatically violated. Similarly, if we violate Calvin-Planck statement, then Clausius statement is violated. So in this way, we can say these two statements are the same, but says about the heat engine, that is the Calvin-Planck statement, but the Clausius statement says about the heat pump. So next we are going for the taking new term that is called as the uh, region for irreversibility. What is the irreversibility? So in the thermodynamic we have studied different types of processes. We have also studied the reversible process as well as the irreversible process, and from the first unit of this subject. So reversible process, it is also called as ideal process. Either we can say reversible process or we can say ideal process. Okay, and irreversible process is called as the natural process. Sometimes we can also say it is as the actual process. Irreversible, natural, or actual process. Also, you can call it as the real process. So as we have seen that no process which is ideal or reversible is possible. All the processes which are occurring, they are the irreversible or the natural process. So what are the reasons behind the irreversibility of any process? So this process may be caused due to either one or both of the following reasons. There are two reasons behind it why the process is irreversible. First reason is lack of thermodynamic equilibrium during the process. And you have already studied what is the thermodynamic equilibrium. Thermodynamic equilibrium consists of four types of equilibrium. You have gone through it. And what are those? These are the mechanical equilibrium, chemical equilibrium, thermal equilibrium, as well as electrical equilibrium. So if there is lack of such thermodynamic equilibrium, it will cause the irreversibility in the process. Okay. Then second term involves the dissipative effects. Dissipative effects means we can say there is the presence of friction in every process. If there is a friction is present, it will also cause that is the irreversibility. There is also the, you can say, viscosity in the fluid, etc. So, because of these such reasons, what happens? The process will become irreversible. So, these are the reasons for irreversibility. Now, first we are taking in detail how the irreversibility due to the lack of thermodynamic equilibrium, how it happens. So, if there is a lack of thermodynamic equilibrium, means there may be unbalanced mechanical force or the pressure. There may be the differences in electric potential. There may be non-uniformity of the temperature, or there may be some chemical reaction within the system. So either by one, two, three, four, any one of them is present there, and there is not the thermodynamic equilibrium between the system and surroundings, or maybe between two systems or two parts of the same system. Either may be the case. Lack of thermodynamic equilibrium may be between system and surrounding. First case, between two systems. Second case, or between two parts of the system. A process is caused due to spontaneous change, which is irreversible. There will be some change in the process. For example, suppose we are having a system here, and this is the surrounding here. This is the surrounding. Okay, and if there is no thermodynamic equilibrium, then definitely suppose there is a pressure difference, or we can say temperature difference. In the system temperature is T1, outside the system, that is the system of the surrounding is T2, and definitely heat will flow from system to surrounding. So between the system and surrounding, if there is temperature difference, heat will flow. If there is pressure difference, fluid will flow. Similarly, other things may be there. So between the system and surrounding, maybe between two systems. Suppose we are having two systems, system A and system B, and both systems are in contact. This is system A and system B. Here it is maintained at temperature T1 and it is at temperature T2. Definitely, when these two are in contact, the heat will flow from T1 to T2, and because of that, there will be changes in the properties of the system. Third, maybe it is possible within the system. We are having a single system, and within this system, there are different regions. Let this region is called A, and I am writing this region is called B. There are two regions, and here at this region temperature is T1, at this region temperature is T2. So what will happen within the single system, because of the temperature difference, heat will flow from this region to that region. The heat will flow. Here, in all these cases, temperature difference is there. We can say T1 is greater than T2, then heat will flow from higher temperature to lower temperature. So,
Lower temperature.
yeah, so I want to say that because of the lack of thermodynamic equilibrium, either that may be mechanical, electrical, thermal, or chemical, between system and surrounding, between the two systems, or between two parts of the same system, the properties will change because some change will occur. That is spontaneous change. Some change will occur, and because of that, process will be irreversible. Okay. Now for to understand that in better way, we are taking some example. Then the first case we are taking heat transfer through a finite temperature difference. Try to understand heat transfer through a finite temperature difference. So here what we are considering is that as per definition, we know that a reversible heat transfer process is one. We are talking about the reversible heat transfer process is one in which heat is transferred through an infinitesimal temperature difference in the direction of high temperature to low temperature. Reversible heat transfer process is one in which heat is transferred through an infinitesimal temperature difference in the direction of high temperature to low temperature. As we know that when the heat transfer will occur, always it will occur from high temperature to low temperature. But here we are talking about the reversible heat transfer. Heat transfer is reversible, means process can be reversed. And for that, you have studied the process which is known as the quasi-static process. We have already studied that process, quasi-static process. And in the quasi-static process, as we know that, suppose this state is 1, initial state, final state is 2. So between these states, there are some intermediate states we have studied. In this quasi-static process, there are some intermediate states, and this process is very slow. This process is very slow, so it is called like the quasi static process. Means a system departs from an equilibrium condition infinitesimally. So this quasi static process where the system stops or departs from we can say the equilibrium state, and this process is very slow. So this process, which is the quasi-static, is closer to the reversible process. This quasi-static process is closer to the reversible process. It is not exactly the reversible process. So to transfer heat or to make the reversible heat transfer, it is necessary that process should be very slow. Condition is that process should be very slow, otherwise it will not be reversible. Okay, heat transfer will occur from high temperature to low temperature, but in the reversible heat transfer process, temperature difference in the direction of high temperature as well as the process should be very slow, otherwise it will not be reversible. So in order to transfer a finite amount of heat through an infinitesimal temperature difference, we have to find the finite amount of heat transfer, an infinite area or infinite amount of time is needed. Means when the process will be very slow, it means very slow means process will take infinite time to complete it, to make it reversible. It will require infinite time. So infinite amount of time is needed to complete the process. So this infinite amount of time is not feasible case. because all actual processes are through finite temperature difference. Means if there is a small temperature difference, the process may be reversible, as well as time required to complete the process is infinite. If these two conditions are satisfied, then process will be reversible, or we can say there is the reversible heat transfer process. But it is not possible. Neither we can allow infinite time for any process, nor the temperature difference will be very very small. If there is some heat transfer, definitely there will be the finite temperature difference between the two systems or the two bodies. So in actual process, finite temperature difference employing finite area and are therefore irreversible due to lack of thermodynamic equilibrium. We are not allowing infinite time as well as temperature difference also there. So there will be the lack of thermodynamic equilibrium. There will not be the thermodynamic equilibrium. So this will exist. The greater temperature difference, if the temperature difference is more, greater will be the irreversibility. As we know that if the two objects are at a different temperature, flow will be faster. If if the two objects have the closer temperature, flow will be slower. So depending upon the either the heat transfer is occurring at the faster rate or the slower rate, it will change the other properties too accordingly. If there is the greater temperature difference, it means the spontaneous change in the system will occur, and because of that, there will be more irreversibility because of the high temperature difference. Property will change suddenly. We don't want it in the reversal process, and such process cannot be reversed automatically. This process, without having the high temperature difference, lack of thermal equilibrium cannot be reversed automatically. Okay, you got it?
सर ऑटोमेटिकली कैसा, मतलब एक बार फिर से बताइएगा.
The process can occur only in one direction, but in the reverse direction it is not possible. Heat transfer will occur in, suppose we are having the two bodies at temperature T1 and T2, and T1 and T2 are the temperature difference. Suppose T1 we are taking is equal to 100 degrees centigrade. For example, this temperature is 100 degrees centigrade, and that T2 is equal to 80 degrees centigrade. So there is that difference of the 20 degrees centigrade temperature difference. So the heat will flow from this to this.
अच्छा.
But because there is a large, this is the finite temperature difference. But because of this high temperature difference, heat cannot flow from T2 to T1. This will not occur. This case is not possible. It is only possible. Let's suppose the difference is the small. Try to understand. If suppose T1 we are taking, and the rest T1 is for example 20 degrees centigrade. Okay, and T2 equal to 19.5 degrees centigrade. So what is the temperature difference?
0.1.
Yeah, so this is very small temperature. In that case, reversibility is possible. But finite temperature difference, larger temperature difference, there will be the irreversibility, and process cannot be reversed.
ओके सर.
So this temperature difference should be smaller, as we have studied in the quasi-static process. Keep in mind, we have already studied. The temperature difference is
यस
smaller,
सर.
smaller temperature difference, reversibility will be there. As well as to accomplish such process, more time or theoretically infinite time we have to allow. Process will be very very slow. Process will be very slow, as well as the temperature difference is small. Then this process will be reversible. Otherwise, it is not possible at all. Okay.
ओके सर.
Yeah, so we can also show here by the second law of thermodynamics that a heat transfer through a finite temperature difference is irreversible. Just now we will go to prove it, how this process is irreversible from the second law of thermodynamics. Okay, so just so what we are going to take here, consider a heat source A. We are having a heat source A at temperature Ta. We are having heat source A with the temperature Ta, a heat sink B at temperature Tb. And in this case, Ta is greater than Tb, means the heat source is greater temperature in compared to heat sink. It already happens. Now suppose Q A to B. Q A to B means from heat source to heat sink. B the amount of heat flowing from A to B as a result of temperature difference. So here you can see this is our heat source. at temperature TA, heat sink at temperature TB, and the heat transfer occurring between these A and B is QAB. Okay, because the temperature difference is there, and here TA is greater than TB. So because of that temperature difference, heat will flow, and that heat flow is occurring which is QA2B. Is it clear or not?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, है ना? Now further, let us assume that an engine operating between A and B taking heat Q1 from A and discharging Q2 amount of heat to the B and delivering work equal to W net. Now here you will see there is an engine. This is the engine. This engine working between the same temperature limits, taking Q1 amount of heat, rejecting Q2 amount of heat to the heat sink and producing W net amount of work. In the first case, there is a temperature difference. Heat is flowing, that is QA to B between heat source and heat sink. And also, if between these two thermal reservoirs, we have employed an heat engine which is taking Q1 amount of heat from the heat source, producing W net amount of work and rejecting Q2 amount of heat to the heat sink. Is it clear? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Now, what we are doing here is just what we are doing here, just to see here what we are doing. Uh, Now reverse the heat transfer process. So Q B to A amount of heat will be flowing from B to A. Now what we have done here in the second figure, you see the heat engine is working here. Okay, it is taking Q1 amount of heat from the heat source, producing W net amount of work and rejecting Q2 amount of heat to the heat sink. Same as that we have taken here in the figure first. Now here what we are doing Q B to A. You change this direction. Actually direction is reversed here, opposite from B to A. It is not A to B, but it is B to A. Here, heat engine is taking Q1 amount of heat, rejecting Q2 amount of heat, producing W net amount of work. But this Q B to A, we are going to reverse it because we are talking about the reversal process. So we are going to reverse this process. Q B to A.
तो टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस कम होगा ना सर इस प्रोसेस में?
Let's try to understand. We are what we are doing here, reversing the process.
ओके सर.
Here we are reversing B to A. Suppose that the working of the engine is such that Q2 equal to QB to A. Now what is happening here? Because this is producing W net, rejecting Q2 amount of heat, and when this process is reversed, then it will become QB2A. And here what we are going to assume that this Q2 which is rejecting by the engine is equal to QB2A. Suppose this is the case, QB2A equal to Q2. So what happens when these two are same? It means there is no need of heat sink. Then there is no need of heat sink. No need of heat sink. This point is clear? Because this engine is rejecting Q2 amount of heat to the heat sink, and QB2A we are taking from the heat sink, and Q2 and QB2A both are same. So we can connect these two here. Means the heat engine which is rejecting Q2 amount of heat, if this heat is directly transferred to the heat source A, we can eliminate this heat sink. Okay, you are getting my point. We can eliminate it. It's not need of this heat sink. Q2 rejection will be transferred to the heat source A. If it is clear to you, it means what will happen in that case, this whole combined system will work as the heat engine, and with interaction of the energy only with the one thermal reservoir. If this case happens, then our this combined system will take Q1 amount of heat, produce net amount of work. You are getting my point. So what happens? You can see we are taking Q1 amount of heat and supplying QBD amount of heat to this. it will produce Q1 minus Q2 amount of the work. So there will be only a single thermal reservoir then. There will be only a single thermal reservoir. Single reservoir, it means there is no rejection of heat. Means no rejection of heat means क्या हो जाएगा? That means Q2 equals to 0. If there is single thermal reservoir means there is no rejection of the heat. So this case violates the second law. You getting my point? No or yes? Yes, please reply. Because so because of that we can say if such case happens Q equal to 0, and then we can say the reversibility of this process is not possible. This is not possible. If it is possible, then if it not because of that it violates the second law. Then it violates second law. So this case is not possible, or the process this violates second law, or it says that the process cannot be reversed. So it has been proved that by reversing it, it violates second law. So it is not practically possible. So this cannot be reversed. And okay, so second example we are going to take, that is the free expansion. Huh? Yeah, Ranju Rao, you are going to understand?
Yes, sir.
धीरे धीरे बोलते रहिए, मुझे मालूम चले आप लोग हैं कि नहीं.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So now next we are taking the free expansion. What is free expansion? So actually the lack of pressure equilibrium within the interior of the system, lack of pressure equilibrium within the interior of the system or between the system and surroundings causes both the system and its surrounding or the system alone to undergo an spontaneous change of state, which will cease only when pressure equilibrium will be established. Such process cannot be reversed without producing any other effect either in the system or surrounding, and hence it is an irreversible process. And its best example is free expansion process. So if there is lack of equilibrium in the interior of the system, what will happen? It will cause the system alone to undergo an spontaneous change. There will be some change in the system properties. Okay, and until when the pressure equilibrium or mechanical equilibrium is allowed or reached. So we can take example, suppose your ceiling fan is running, it is throwing out or spreading the air in the room. So definitely when the air is coming from some source, so because of the pressure difference, air will move from one region to another region. But when we stop the running of our ceiling fan, what will happen? Gradually the pressure difference will decrease throughout the room, and after some time air will be the still air. So that will be the mechanical equilibrium after some time. But initially, when the fan is running, there is no mechanical equilibrium, and it will cause the spontaneous change in the system. Now, what is happening here? You can see this is the insulation, and
Yes, sir.
there is a complete system. In the one part we are having a gas. In the second compartment we are having the vacuum, and these two compartments are separated by a diaphragm that can be punctured or broken. So initially in the section or compartment A there is the gas at some pressure. In the compartment B there is the vacuum only. Now if we puncture this portion, if we puncture it or break it, this diaphragm, so by puncture it or break it, what will happen? The gas from the section A will flow to the section B. Gas from section A will flow to the section B and will completely filtrate this vacuum until the pressure in section A as well as section B will be in equilibrium. The pressure will be same. So it will occur in the forward direction. When we puncture the diaphragm, Gas will flow from A to B and occupy this whole space until the pressure is uniform in both the compartments. But is it possible the gas from the section B will move back to the compartment A, creating vacuum again in section B?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Possible. Okay. For that, we have another system here, irreversible free expansion process. So see the second figure here. What we are doing, we are assuming that suppose it may happening. We are assuming that from section B the gas is flowing to section A. We have assumed here from section B to section A this gas is flowing, and if it is happening, suppose we are adding some heat from heat source to this compartment B. So because of that, what will happen? This will apply some heat here. Then this gas will this will reach to the section A. It is happening. We have assumed here to make the process reversible. Now we have employed here a heat an engine only. Engine actually it is the machine, not a cyclic process. We have employed here an engine. What is happening when we are giving heat here as well as the gas is moving from B to A, this gas will come here, pass through this portion because there is the less pressure. It is the more pressure. We have assumed here. So this gas will pass through or expand through this engine and again come back to the compartment B.
Can be.
Because of the expansion, this engine is producing W amount of the work. We have employed this because this is flowing or moving. If it is moving, then definitely it will also pass through this engine, and because of that, it will produce some work W. Now, because we have to maintain the temperature of B, pressure of B, so what we are doing from some outside heat source, we are supplying Q amount of heat to the section B, such that Q is equal to W. Means Q amount of heat we are giving to compartment B and engine is producing W amount of work. Whatever amount of heat we are giving, we are getting the same amount of work output. If the gas is moving from B to E, if it is happening, if it is possible, then in that case, the Q will be equal to W. If it is happening, then heat supplied to this compartment B will be equal to work delivered to the surrounding by the engine. Q will be equal to W. And if the Q equal to W means we can convert heat into the work. It follows the first law, violates the second law. So this case is not possible. It violates the second law. You got it? It means that this process is not possible or the process cannot be reversed. Process cannot be reversed. Okay, because Q we are supplying here, we are getting work output W, both are equal. We are converting Q into work. The T1, as we know that Q is heat is the low grade of energy, work is the high grade of energy. We cannot convert heat into work completely. And here it is showing that Q equal to W. So this case is not possible. It means it violates the second law. So process cannot be reversed here. So this will be the irreversible free expansion. Here free expansion means the gas is when we puncture this diaphragm, the gas will move to the vacuum and it will expand, but it is not expanding against some pressure. So it is called like the free expansion. But as you have seen in case of the gas cylinder piston arrangement, as you have seen earlier, if there is some piston in here and we are having some gas here, then definitely this gas here in this case and apply some pressure against some piston force. So it is not the free expansion, it is simply expansion. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so it has been proved here. Okay, so and I have discussed about the free expansion as well as one more which is called as the heat transfer through finite temperature difference. We have discussed heat transfer through finite temperature difference, and second is the free expansion. Now third we are taking, this is also the reason for the irreversibility, which is due to the dissipative effects. And dissipative effects means the presence of the friction. So what happens, friction generates the heat. This friction actually it generates heat. and because of that, it also caused the irreversibility. So you can see, suppose there is some arrangement. This is the piston and the cylinder arrangement, and this is some gas or the our perfect system. So consider the case when the gas is going through the expansion. It is going through expansion. In the expansion, what will happen? This piston will move rightward. Okay. During
Yes, sir.
expansion, this piston will move rightward, and when this piston will move between the cylinder as well as the inside surface, there will be the friction. Between the outside surface of the friction and the cylinder, there will be friction, and this friction will generate heat. Let this heat generated is plus Q. When the expansion will occur, this heat will generate the plus Q. Now,
Yes, sir.
suppose we are now compressing the gas. So during the compression, again there is the friction, and it will generate the heat again plus Q. So actually what is happening, if during the expansion heat generated the plus Q positive, then in the compression process this heat generation, actually this heat should be the minus Q, heat should be absorbed, then the process may be uh, reversible. But what happens, either compression or expansion etc., in both the direction heat generation is always there, and this heat generation changes the property of the system because it transfers the heat inside the gas. So this is also the reason for the irreversibility. Friction causes the changes in the molecules at the internal level, which generates heat, and because of that heat generation, it causes the irreversibility. You have seen that when we rub the matchstick with the surface of that matchbox, so there is the friction, and because of that friction, heat is generated and the ignition takes place, so that matchstick starts burning. So by that friction, there is the generation of the heat, and that heat generation causes the combustion there. This is the example of the friction which generates heat. But in the reverse process, the amount of heat generated cannot be taken back. So because of this, the dissipative effect means friction also causes the irreversibility. Now see that we are taking the cycle. This is called like the Carnot cycle. So Carnot cycle we are going to discuss here, and if we draw its PV and TS diagram, but before that you have to understand what is a Carnot cycle. So if you see the schematic diagram for the Carnot engine, uh, there is a, we can say there is a cylinder and the piston. Cylinder and piston are there. So this cylinder is a perfect conductor as well as perfect insulator. This cylinder is a perfect conductor as well as perfect insulator. You are getting my voice or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This cylinder consists of, just 1 second please. Okay. So here you will see what is the Carnot cycle. So before that you have to understand what is the Carnot engine. So Carnot engine consists of a cylinder and a piston. This is some system. It is having here some working substance. Now the structure of the Carnot engine is that this cylinder is perfectly insulated, and here we are having the heat source which is at temperature T1, heat sink at temperature T2. So this heat source will supply the heat. If this heat supply is Q1. Here heat sink will take heat at temperature T2. This heat rejection is Q2. Now here this portion of the cylinder head, it is perfect conductor as well as perfect insulator, and this portion is the perfect insulator of the cylinder. So actually when we see how the heat transfer, heat rejection taken place in the Carnot engine, including the work reservoir where we can store the work produced. So this Carnot cycle or Carnot engine, it consists of the four processes, and these four processes are and can be shown on the PV diagram as well as TS diagram. So if you see the PV diagram, this 1 to 2 is the isothermal, reversible isothermal process 1 to 2. You can see here also 1 to 2 is the reversible isothermal process, and here the temperature is T1, higher temperature. 2 to 3, where I have written S equal to constant, so it is the reversible isentropic process. This is 2 to 3, here S equal to constant. Then 3 to 4, again isothermal process, so T equal to constant. And 4 to 1, this is 4 to 1, it is the again isentropic compression. So 1 to 2 reversible isothermal process, 2 to 3 reversible and reversible adiabatic expansion, 3 to 4 isothermal compression, and 4 to 1 reversible adiabatic compression. So just try to understand what the process is occurring. Here you can also see here it is a heat engine. Carnot engine is the heat engine. It is taking Q1 amount of heat from the heat source, producing W net amount of work, and rejecting Q2 amount of heat to the heat sink. Okay, you are getting or not?
Yes, sir.
Then it can be reversed also. If we take Q2 amount of heat from the heat sink, taking double net amount of work and rejecting Q2 amount of heat to the heat source, then it is known as the reverse Carnot engine. That will work as the heat pump. Now, what happens when we supply the heat here at the constant temperature? Actually, you will see here in this process 1 to 2, heat addition is there, that is Q1 at the constant temperature. And heat rejection takes place at again constant temperature. So the heat rejection is Q2. Heat addition is at temperature T1, Q1. Heat rejection is Q2 at temperature, this is T2. Now see here, suppose in the process 1 to 2, heat addition will take place. So from the schematic diagram here, some working substance is there. Here from heat source which is at temperature T1, we are supplying Q1 amount of heat to the system. As we know that when we have to supply the heat to the system, then this surface or this material of the cylinder should be conductive. It should be made of the metal so that heat can flow from the heat source to the system. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
When we are transferring heat from the heat source to the system, then in between these two there is some cylinder surface. And it should be made of the metallic material. It should be conductive so that heat can flow.
Yes, sir.
Here, so expansion will occur from 1 to 2. Expansion will occur from 1 to 2. Now in the process 2 to 3, this is the isentropic or the reversible adiabatic expansion process. So in this process, as you know that if the S equal to constant, Q will be equal to 0. In the reversible adiabatic process, Q equal to 0. Means there is no heat transfer. If there is no heat transfer, then the cylinder should be having insulated. When it is insulated, what the insulation does, it allows no heat to transfer. So the insulation is made here because in the reversible adiabatic process, this process 2 to 3, here also 2 to 3, transfer of Q equal to 0. There is no heat transfer. Got it? Okay, there is no heat transfer, then the cylinder is insulated from all the sides. Third, again, the piston will move back, compression will start. So first compression will be from 3 to 4, it is the constant at the constant temperature process. So again, it will occur at the constant temperature and the heat will be rejected here to the heat sink. So this again, this cylinder material will be conductive. And in the last process, which is 4 to 1, and it is the isentropic compression. So again, it needs that when the S equal to constant, reversible adiabatic process, then here also Q will be equal to 0. There should be no heat transfer. It means there are four processes. One process is the isothermal, temperature remains constant. Second is reversible adiabatic process, no heat transfer. Third is again isothermal, and fourth is again adiabatic adjacent process. Now what is the need? In the process 1 to 2, this material should be conductive so that heat can be transferred. In the process 2 to 3, all the surface should be act as the insulator. Heat should not go outside. Third process again, this surface should be conductive. Fourth process, this surface should be insulation. So the for the working of this Carnot engine, it requires that this cylinder material should be made of such a material which is the perfect conductor as well as perfect insulator. A material which is perfect conductor. Perfect conductor means all the metals are the conductor. So material should be perfect conductor as well as perfect insulator. Perfect insulator. These two properties are required in case of the Carnot cycle. These two properties are required for the cylinder material. Have you seen any material which is perfect conductor as well as perfect insulator?
नो सर,
Metals
कोई
are,
एक ही चीज हो सकती है.
metals are the perfect conductor. The plastic rubbers are the
यस सर.
perfect insulator. There is no such
यस सर.
material which can function as the perfect conductor and perfect.
कंडक्टर और
It is not possible at all. Okay?
इंसुलेटर बोथ.
This is
यस सर.
the drawback of this Carnot cycle.
कार्नोट.
Huh? Second,
यस.
in the case of the 1 to 2, which is the constant temperature process, 1 to 2 is the constant temperature process. In this process, we are adding heat Q1. Okay? In this process, we are
यस.
adding heat Q1. So, if we are adding heat to this process 1 to 2 at the constant temperature, we need that we are adding heat, but the temperature should not change. Is it possible?
नो सर.
We are adding heat Q1, but the temperature should be constant. Is it possible? It is not feasible. Or,
यस सर.
or if it is possible,
टीचर इनके
this process should be very, very slow. If it is possible, this process should be very, very slow.
लो.
In the engine, it will not happen. Piston moves fastly.
यस सर.
Because this is the problem.
सर.
Very, very slow. See, the process 2 to 3. In the process 2 to 3, Q should be equal to 0. There should be no heat transfer. Means the cylinder should be isolated from the outside so that heat should not go outside. One part. In the second part, if the process is very fast, if the process is very fast, it will not allow time to move heat to go out. If the process is very fast, we do not allow the time to move to go heat to outside. So process 2 to 3 should be very fast. Again 3 to 4 isothermal should be very slow. 4 to 1, which is the reversible adiabatic, should be very fast. So process should be, it is very slow, and very fast, very slow, very fast. Can we run our piston in that way? Piston is moving very slow, very fast, very slow. Is it feasible? Is it possible?
नो सर.
Oh, it is
No,
not.
sir.
लॉकडाउन ही नहीं मिलेगा अगर होगा. पहले चलेगी नहीं.
These are the drawbacks of the Carnot cycle.
Carnot cycle.
These are the drawbacks. Because of that, actually, if it is possible, it gives the 100% efficiency. That is possible by the Carnot engine. But there are some practical difficulty. We cannot manufacture such a material having properties of a good conductor as well as perfect insulator, perfect conductor.
insulator.
The piston cannot move very slow, very fast, very slow in that manner. So because of such difficulty, it is only hypothetical one. It is not the practical one. So
Yes.
concept I made clear. This is the estimate diagram. You can draw. This is the PV diagram showing all the process, and this is the diagram we have already shown for the heat engine showing the two temperature reservoirs. So is it clear? And